A very good afternoon to one and all. Dear learner, this is Kavita Chauhan from DB Public School Chamba. And today I'm going to discuss with you all about a chapter, Letter to God, which is for class 10th. It is written by G.L. Fuentes. Before we start the chapter, let me talk about the importance of title. You all will be having different ideas about what could be the story, like a letter to God. What could be the story about? So basically, it is a story about a farmer whose name was Lenko. He had a firm faith in God that he's going to listen to his prayer whenever he needed him. So whenever we discuss about the story, dear learners, we need to keep in mind that a chapter is divided into different parts. Like first, we should know what is the theme of the chapter, sub theme, then we have characters and flow chart. Flow chart actually is a highlight of the story. You can have the chapter at a glance. What is the story about? So, first of all, I would like to tell you about the story. Lanko, who is the protagonist of the story, writes a letter to God, keeping in view that God is going to help him as his entire crop destroyed by a devastating hailstorm. Although his wishes get fulfilled partially, if not completely, he is ungrateful in the end and questions the honesty and modesty of the postmaster who actually helped him with money in the name of God. So, dear learners, first I would begin with the theme of the story. The story highlights immense power in man's innocent faith in God. After his crop was destroyed in storm, he wrote a letter to God requesting him to send him 100 pesos. And the subtheme is it teaches us that if a man has childlike faith in God, he can accomplish anything considered impossible. It was his faith that farmer got timely help. Now, the most important part of the story is the characters. There are three main characters. First is Lanko, who is the protagonist. He was a man of limited means and earned his living by farming his fields. He had an unshaken faith in God. He believed that God always helps those people with a clear conscience. Therefore, when he lost all hopes and he and his family were on the verge of starvation, he looked towards God for help. His deep faith in God even impressed the postmaster who decided to help him. He showed his innocence by trying to have a correspondence with God directly. While he had unshaken faith in God, he mistrusted easily the motives of men, and then he never tried to know who had actually sent him the money. It is quite ironical that he abused his helpers, sorry, by calling them a bunch of groups. And the next character is the postmaster. The postmaster has all that is good in human thinking and behavior. He had a sharp, sympathetic, and sensitive mind. He knew how the mind of a God fearing rustic like Lanko works actually. He didn't want to break the deep faith of Lanko in God. After reading the letter, he was deeply moved and impressed by Lanko's faith in God. He knew that merely God will was not sufficient. The farmer needed financial help also, so he collected a sum of 70 pesos from his employees. He also contributed a part of his salary and sent the money to Lanko. The third character is the post office employees. The post office employees made every effort to help Lanko. They were considerate and full of compassion. They contributed for an act of charity. They couldn't collect 100 pesos but sent only 70 pesos to Lanko. Only a single word was written as a signature, that is God.